So here we have the NX8 Plus. Okay. I've been trying to find YouTube videos on how to do certain things on this, and it does not seem like there's many. Actually, I've not seen a single YouTube video for the NX8 Plus. They're all for the NX8, which is the same thing. But I have not been able to find a video on flight modes. But I'm going to show you right now what I've done with flight modes, okay? But here we are. So you can see I have my channels. Let me just fix my trims real quick, just to make it less confusing.
Flaps up. Take off flaps.
Okay, so my trims are all fixed. I have set flight modes up on channel F here, or switch F, and I put them on
Landing flaps. Take
which
off
would
flaps.
be auxiliary 6. That's what my F is on. I put flight modes on F, okay, and I've set my flight modes up to be when it's in the up position, that is takeoff. Then whenever I put it in the mid position, that means I'm just flying. And then bottom position is when I'm ready to land. So right now I'm ready to take off. My gear is at 100, meaning my gear is down, and my flaps are at half flaps, okay? Now, actually, I don't have this hooked up to a plane. This is just a test module I've been messing around with, so these numbers actually aren't matched to anything. I just put them in there to make sense in my head while I tested this out. Just bear with me if the numbers aren't making sense, but that's why I put it at 50, because, okay, 50 means half flaps in my brain. So just correlate it like that. But right now I have my landing gear at 100, means they are out. The plane's ready to take off. Got my flaps down. When I go down to the next mode,
Flaps up.
actually let me turn this up
Volume 100.
so you guys can hear it. Okay.
Take off flaps.
Okay, so here we are. We're ready to take off. It said take off flaps. Gears up and flaps are at 50.
Flaps up.
Flaps went to 0 and my gear went to negative 100. Okay, meaning my gear have retracted all the way into the plane, my landing gear, and my flaps are flat. They are not active at all. Now I'm going to go into landing mode.
Landing flaps.
And my flaps go to 100% flaps, and my gear come all the way back out again. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that. Alright, setting up flight modes for many things, because the only video I've been able to find on YouTube for this is how to set up trims in flight mode, which I did do. So let's say
Take off
when
flaps.
I'm taking off, I want my elevator to be plus 12. Let's just say that, okay? When I go down to the next flight mode,
Flaps up.
it's now at 0 again. And let's say it's like, okay, well, when I'm just flying, I want it to be at 6. And when I'm landing it,
Landing flaps.
I want my, elevator to be negative 12. I don't know. Let's just say negative 12, right? There's a cat in the background. Now, whenever I switch to takeoff,
Take off flaps.
it's at plus 12, okay? Can you guys see that? Pretty sure you can. Yeah, plus 12. All right. And when I go down to just flying,
Flaps up.
negative 6 trim. And whenever I go down to land,
Landing flaps.
negative 12. So it
Take off flaps.
it will save my trims for me. I have set that up. And that's as far as the YouTube videos have gotten me. The rest I had to figure out by myself. And that's kind of why I'm making this video, so you guys can know how to do this as well, where you set
Flaps
up
up.
your gear and flaps all on one
Landing
switch.
flaps.
Everything happens on one switch. Also, I currently have rates set up as well.
Take off flaps.
Takeoff, let's say takeoff, I have it at, you can see the aileron only goes up to 70 when I go full movement with my stick. It only goes to 70. Now if I go into regular flight mode, which is mode 2,
Flaps up.
it's at 100% rate, because whenever I'm flying, I want 100% rate, just, doing tricks and stuff. Now when I'm ready to land,
Landing flaps.
now it's at 65% rate. You see that? So I have set up rates trims, landing gear, and flaps all on one switch. And there's something else I set up. What was it? I can't remember. But all these things are set up on one switch. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that, if I can even remember how I did it. It was very complicated. It took me like 3 hours to figure out by myself. Hopefully running the second time through, it won't take that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a new model. So I'm going to create a new model here. Alright, so model type, we got the airplane. Cool. Model name, we're going to just put it as test 2.
Because I already have a test program. That's the one we're just on. So just put it at test 2.
Alright. Model is now named test 2. Aircraft type. So I'm going to want to do 1 aileron, 1 flap. And tail, I'm just going to keep that normal. Okay. F mode setup. For me, I kind of feel like F mode should be switch F. That's why I did that on the first one. So switch F, you just have to click it. You just have to, toggle the switch, and then it will pick that, okay? So now whenever I go in between flight modes, it says at the bottom there, flight mode 1, 2, and 3, right? Now that I've had that done, I'm going to go to channel assign. I'm going to take 5, which is my landing gear. I'm going to make that go to F. I can just signal the thing right there and click it. I'm also going to go to 7 and change it to F as well. 7 should be my flaps. Yeah, flaps. But anyways, let's go to, there should be flap system down here. Switch inhibit. I'm going to put it on F. Because remember, we wanted to activate with switch F. So now we got position 0. We want our flap to be, for position 0 would be our takeoff, right? So let's just say we want it at 50%. I'm going to follow the exact stuff that I did on the other test protocol. And then
Flight mode 2.
Flight mode 2, I don't want any, because that's just regular flying, right? I don't want any flaps for regular flying. And then position 2,
Flight mode 3.
I'm going to want 100% flap. Let's just go off of that, because that's what I had in the last program.
Flight mode 1. Flight
All right,
mode
cool.
2. Flight mode 1.
So now I'm gonna go up to servo setup. I'm gonna go to speed. We're gonna go to our gear. Actually, you know what? Since we're on flaps, let's go to flaps. So we're gonna make it. Let's just say 4 seconds there on both ones. So now when I move it,
Flight mode 2.
you see the flaps slowly go down
Mode 3.
and slowly go up.
Flight mode 2.
That's just a personal preference if you like that or not. Now you see how the gear, look at the gear channel, is just like clicking in place, right?
Flight mode 1. Flight mode 2.
And it's not even going the whole way down, it's just clicking in place.
Flight mode 2. Flight mode 1. Flight mode 1.
Oh my gosh, that's annoying. Okay, anyways, so we're gonna go to gear. And I like to just set it at 4. You can really set it at whatever speed you want. But, oops. Whenever you set it to that speed now, you can see the gear goes down slowly as well.
Mode 3.
See that?
Flight mode 2. Flight mode 1.
Cool. So now we've got our speed set up. Gonna be quite honest with you. I think it's in digital switch setup. Let's try it out. There's a cat walking in front of my screen right now. Cool. Digital switch setup. I'm gonna go with it's
two.
F.
Flight mode 3. Flight mode 1.
Now I have to it should be
Flight mode 2.
okay, so you see how, yes, so digital switch setup, I go to switch F, and whenever I change the position, you see how auxiliary 2 is moving and the gear is moving as well. So in position 1 we're flying, so we want the gear all the way stored into the airplane. So you're going to set it at whatever number it is to store it into your airplane. I'm going to set it at 100 negative just to make it easy for us to comprehend. And then position 1, obviously we want the gear to be out of the plane, so we're going to put them at 100 positive.
Flight mode 2. Flight
And
mode 3.
for flight mode 3 down here, we don't want the landing gear inside the plane like they are. We want them to come out. So we're going to make it come out, which is so much fun. Boom. So now, I'm going to go back out. We're going to look at this right here.
Flight mode 1.
Currently, I am ready to take off. Look, my, I wonder if I have a pen here. Oh, I do have a pen right here. Look at that. Okay. So, my gear is at 100, which means my gear's out. My flaps are at 50, which means I'm at half flaps. All right. Now I'm going to take off the plane. Let's say I just took off the plane. I want to put my flaps and landing gear away.
Flight mode 2.
My flaps are at 0. Let me just cycle the screen to turn it on again. My flaps are at 0 and my gear went to negative 100. Now let's say, I want to land the plane.
Flight mode 3.
Both go to 100 positive. So that is how you set it up to where your flight mode switch is
Flight mode 1.
at the top position, take off,
Flight mode 2.
fly the plane,
Flight mode 3.
and then land the plane. And I personally really like that. Now we can do a lot more to that, and we can add more to it. First off, I'm going to go to audio events. All right. Now we can go to flight modes, and this is spoken flight mode here. Let's say
Flight mode 1.
flight mode 1. I don't want it to say flight mode 1. I want it to say something about taking off. So let's say like acro. Might say like launch. So I could have it say launch.
Launch mode.
Launch mode. Something having to do with like taking off the airplane. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm looking for. Flight modes, launch. Okay, so I think what I'm just going to do is put it in launch. And then we're going to go down to number 2. And I'm going to put that shit in flight mode.
Flight mode.
I like that. And then, like I said, you don't even have to be on it. You just flip it down and it's going to go to it. Now, this is for landing. So I'm going to put it on land.
Landing mode.
Landing mode. See? So that's pretty fire. So now it's not going to say flight mode 1, flight mode 2, whatever the fuck. It's not going to, or whatever the flip. Sorry, I'm saying bad words here. Now,
Launch mode. Flight mode. Landing mode.
is that not fire or what? That's pretty dope, right? Now look, if I set my trim and it's at plus 14,
Launch mode.
it did not change, right? It stayed the same. So we got to fix that, right? Because you don't want that. You want your trims to be set to different flight modes so like you can adjust your elevator whenever you have your flaps come down. You know what I mean? Your flaps come down, you're going to need to adjust your elevator for that. And you don't want to have to do that every time. You'd want your settings to be set for that. So I'll show you how to do that. We're going to go to, there we go, system setup. Click yes. It's going to be in trim setup right here. Trim setup. So now you're just going to want to go to like your aileron, switch it to F mode, elevator, switch it to F mode, and rudder, switch it to F mode. Now, honestly, the only one I could see you really needing is elevator, but I just switch them all to F mode because I can just, you know, it's like why not? You know what I mean? You don't need to, but why not? At least elevator is the only one you really need to do. But rudder and aileron, you might as well. You know what I mean? Heck, you could even do it for your throttle. So basically, You could set your trims for your throttle. So like whenever you're coming in for your landing, maybe you like a certain amount of trim or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. But these numbers on the side, like the number 5s, you can adjust that and change how much your trims actually do. So like when you click it, if you do like 10, it'll like do bigger adjustments. If you do 1, it'll do very minute little miniature adjustments. So I just keep them at 5 because they're chilling there. So now that they're on F mode, if I do that, we're at 14.
Flight mode.
Now it goes down to 0. You see that? And I put this one at -8.
Landing mode.
And I put this one at 10. It will save them in all channels. See that?
Landing mode. Flight mode. Launch mode.
I don't know if you guys can see that.
Landing mode.
But that will work with my ailerons and rudder too, because I said that. So my rudder and my ailerons, they will all change accordingly.
Landing mode.
Cool. So now all my trims are changing according to what flight mode I'm in. See that?
Landing mode. Launch mode.
So
Flight mode.
now your trims are set.
Launch mode.
So that's cool. Rates and expo. I know we're getting crazy, ain't we? Ain't we? So now this is what I do for this. Switch
Landing
F mode.
Launch mode.
Just put it on F mode, man. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Now we're in the up position, right? So we're gonna want this for takeoff. Maybe for takeoff you only like 75% rate. Cool. Maybe a little bit of expo. Oops, negative expo is not good. Let's just say like 15%. Switch her down.
Flight mode.
Now this is flight mode, so we're gonna want 100% rate probably. Maybe like 25 expo.
Landing mode.
Landing mode, now you're gonna want really low rates so you can get that nice landing. So I'm gonna just say 65, right? I don't like high expo when I'm trying to land. I'm not used to it yet. So now
Flight mode.
your
Launch mode. Flight mode. Landing mode. Launch mode.
your
Flight mode. Launch mode.
your rates will move with that. So now
Launch mode.
launch mode 75% rate. You see that? Only goes up to 75. Now it goes to 100. And then below it should go to 65.
Landing mode.
65. So all the way over goes to 65. And on top of that, I have my so let's just go down the list here. We have our gear, we have our flaps, we have our trims, and now we have our rates, and then we also have our expo all on one switch. Everything will work on this one switch. And basically, now I just have that switch set up for taking off, flying the plane, and then landing the plane. And it's all on one switch. Instead of having to go, okay, I just took off. Now I want to put up my landing gear, close my flaps, and adjust my rate, and doing 3 separate switches, and then having to trim out your plane. Nah, that's stupid, man. Why would you want to do that when you have an NX8 Plus? You know what I mean? You might as well just hook it up to one big switch. And that's what we got going on here. So pretty much you could add on even more to that if you really wanted to be honest with you. You could add on more. But that's pretty much the basics. You just have to take that knowledge that I just gave you and just apply it to anything else you want to add to a switch. Yeah, so that is the entirety of what I was trying to show you guys. So
Flight mode.
yeah,
Launch mode.
it's confusing, but as you guys can see, I figured it out, so you guys can figure it out too.
Flight mode.
If you have anything that I did not answer in this video that you need answers for, put it in the comments below. I'll figure that shiz out and I'll let you know. I'll make a video about it. And also just pull out your manual. I was struggling for hours to figure this crap out.
Landing mode.
And I just pulled out my manual and it helped out a good bit. But sometimes you just need to experiment. What I suggest doing is making a test program. Just make a test did I say module before? I think I did. What the heck am I talking about? a test program. Make a test program and just completely mess around with it. If you mess something up, it's okay. You can just delete the program. That is my advice. I don't know. I just feel like that's...
Launch mode.
I just feel like it's smart, you know what I'm saying?
Flight mode. Launch mode.
Oh, I was wondering what that one was, but that's my R knob. But anyways, just make a test. This is test 2. Right now I have, it says acro, but that's actually my test one. And then my stick is actually my stick plane. I have a model set up for that. And I've set up warnings, so if I put these on and fly to my stick, should...
Warning, throttle high. Warning, gear, position 1, high rates, gear up.
Boom. So you can
Gear
set
down.
warnings on there. If you guys want to see a video on that, I can do that as well. But I'm going to end the video here because I showed you everything I wanted to show you in this video. If you guys got any questions or any videos you want me to do, like any questions that like you're like, hey, I don't know what's going on with this, I'll do my best to try and make a video about it, trying to explain it to you. And I hope this video helped. And it certainly will help me in case I ever forget this knowledge that I've obtained. That's why I'm making this video at like 12 o'clock at night, because I don't want to forget any of this tomorrow and not be able to remember how to do it. So now I have this video, I can actually remember how to do all this stuff. So yeah, all in all, it's pretty cool, man. This controller is legit. I love it. I've flown it once on one battery, one airplane battery flight, and it was great. I loved it. Impeccable range, impeccable responses. It's great. But yeah, basically that's it, man. Now you got your mode switch set up.